Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Dr. Sham Mahmood and I am a founder of WellMedic.co.uk. I'm also a GP who works in the northwest of England. In this video, we're going to introduce our GP trainee portfolio support package and how you can get maximum value from this support package. And I'll also like to just take a moment to introduce WellMedic to you and a little bit about myself as well. So we started WellMedic in June 2020 and primarily we focused on AKT support, and we've done a little bit of RCA support as well, and we have a podcast which has reached over 100,000 listens on different podcast platforms. So earlier in 2023 we realized that we have a huge amount of traction to our website with portfolio related queries, and that our portfolio related content was amongst the highly consumed content on our website. And as a result of that, we thought, you know what, it's time to build a GP trainee portfolio support package. And we realized actually there's very little support in terms of GP education around how to get the most out of the FourteenFish and RCGP portfolio. And what I wanted to do with this package primarily was focus on the more difficult aspects of the portfolio. Now, our team is made up of newly qualified GPs. I, at this moment in time, am 2 years post CCT. And I was in quite a unique position where I started my training using the old RCGP training portfolio, and we then switched to the FourteenFish portfolio. So I've got experience with both portfolio systems, and actually I think that's a really interesting position to have, because I've seen the changes that have occurred over the last 3 or 4 years with how the RCGP has continued to develop portfolio. But also, most importantly, we have to remember that the portfolio forms 1/3 of the MRCGP, and it's actually the one part of your assessment which is continually assessed over the 3 years, whereas for most trainees you do your AKT in year 2, you do your SCA in year 3, whereas your portfolio is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and without doubt a lot of trainees really struggle to get to grips with the finer aspects of the portfolio. And although, you know, we're all able to reflect and we're all able to fill out pro formas and log entries, what I want to demonstrate in this course is how you can do that more effectively, how you can avoid making mistakes early in your journey, and primarily that you're able to meet curriculum capabilities so that when you're preparing for your ESR, that process is much easier. Now, if you're new to the portfolio, I can appreciate that some of this may not make sense at this moment in time, but we've set the course up in a way that you will be able to progress using it and using your portfolio and learning about how the portfolio works at that time. So in order to kick off with this video, I'm just going to show some brief introductions to the different aspects of our portfolio course. So this is the screen that you will see once you're logged in. If you go to the introduction to learning logs, that's the first section that we cover. And this is a section that's beneficial to people who are ST1s, but also really beneficial to ST2s and 3s. And the way that you use this course and the way that it's been set up in a way that you'll get value at ST1, ST2 and ST3. So when we talk about learning logs, if you log into your FourteenFish portfolio, you'll see at the top of your screen there'll be a list of learning logs, and they will replicate the learning logs that are here in this infographic. You'll have your clinical case reviews, CPD, reflection, quality improvement, prescribing, so on. So it can appear a little bit daunting. Now, this is quite a realistic view in terms of how many entries you're likely to have. You're much more likely to have clinical case reviews and less of the following. So what we do in this lesson is we talk you through each of the different types of learning logs that are available and how you can get maximum value from them. Now, I'm just going to go down to the quality improvement activity, which is something that you will do in year 2 and year 3, and the quality improvement project is something that you would do in year 1. Now, the reason why quality improvement activity is important is because they can be done in a number of ways, and here are some examples from the RCGP on how you can do that. And then we go on to talk you through some examples of what a quality improvement could look like for yourself. If I move down to leadership, again, that's another example here. So we've got not leadership, learning event analysis. So this is one of the things that needs to be considered. Again, we talk you through what you need to do and what you need to consider. And again, we have an example there as well. So the whole concept here is that if you're new to training, you can get a thorough introduction into what all the learning logs mean. And if you're an existing trainee and you're struggling on a particular learning log, or you want to get or demonstrate a particular area in your portfolio, then you can use that lesson. Now, the second part of the course is split into curriculum capability and reflection. So if we start off with curriculum capability, as you can see from this lesson, what we do is we give you an introduction into what capabilities are, what the 13 capabilities are from the RCGP, and ultimately capabilities is how you demonstrate to your ARCP panel that you're fit to progress through training, but also that you're in a situation where you can CCT and exit training at the end of your 3 years. We talk about commonly made mistakes when it comes to capability coverage, and we talk about why it's important. And ultimately, it's important because when you get to your educational supervisor review, you need to demonstrate that each of these capabilities have been met in your 6 monthly review period. And we talk about how to get curriculum capability right and how to do this effectively. And that's one of the areas where trainees really struggle, is finding where those curriculum capabilities can be met. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we come to clinical case reviews. But just before we move on, I want to touch on what's called the reflection part of what we talk about. So when it comes to reflection, the process that we follow is we talk about the theory of reflection and how you can streamline your reflections. Okay, so that's covered in this module here, reflecting as a GP trainee. Within that, we've also got some clinical case reviews and examples as a PDF and a video. The video is really, really helpful actually because it talks you through curriculum capabilities, and it also gives you an example of how to reflect, how to do a brief description. Again, common mistakes that can be made by trainees, especially early on within their training program. Now, example clinical case reviews makes up a big bulk of the learning within this portfolio support package. So at the time of recording this, we've got 78 clinical case reviews which have been split up across all the capabilities. So here we have fitness to practice, communication skills, data gathering, clinical management. Now I'm going to pick a difficult one. I'm going to pick organization, management and leadership. Now if we go to organization, management and leadership, as you can see, it's a 10-page lesson, so it's fairly extensive. And within this, we will give you some theory behind the actual curriculum capability. We will talk and give you examples in terms of how you can meet this and things that you need to think about when trying to manage this capability. We'll link to the RCGP. We've got their table within there in terms of how you can demonstrate competence or excellence. And then we go through our examples. So I'll quickly show you the pediatric example. So under the pediatric example, we'll have a brief description. We'll then pick a capability and then we'll justify that capability. And the whole idea of doing that is so that you then develop the skills to justify capabilities within your learning logs. And that's a thing that you have to do repeatedly, and you have to do it in preparation for your ESR. Now, the way that we've set these sheets up for each individual domain is that we have examples which are split across primary and secondary care. So for secondary care, we cover pediatrics, we cover obs and gynae, we cover A&E in medicine as a combined one, and then we also cover psychiatry as well. Similarly, we do this for primary care. So in primary care, we have 2 examples for primary care. Now, that should give you a sufficient understanding of how to justify capabilities, but actually even the ones that we use for secondary care can be applied into primary care, because what I'm really teaching within these examples is how you can use the actual capability provided for the RCGP and then build on your reflections from there. Plus, what it could do is, let's say you're in a particular placement as an ST1 or an ST2, then you can open up these sheets. Let's say you're struggling to find something for leadership. Let's say you're struggling to find something for maintaining an ethical approach or fitness to practice. Then you can actually come into our clinical case reviews and find inspiration, which will then help you develop your own justifications. So this is something that you can keep going back through from ST1 to ST3. Okay, the next part of the course or the package is around reflection and personal development. So I provide some examples of reflection. Okay, so the whole concept of reflection, where we talked about the theory early on, this is how I've demonstrated it in practice, and within that we also have PDP examples as well. So PDPs are really important because PDPs are things that you need to demonstrate on a yearly basis, and this is partly replicating your appraisal process once you qualify. Now, the reason why PDPs are really important is because you want to develop PDPs that are attainable, that are smart, but also you want to demonstrate PDPs that are going to allow you to create learning logs as a result of that PDP. For example, let's say one of your PDPs is that you want to be better or more equipped to manage cow's milk protein allergy in pediatrics, then actually what you then need to do is come up with a plan of how you're going to demonstrate that learning and reflection in your learning logs. So your PDPs are linked very closely to your learning logs, and it's understanding that link, and that then helps you develop better PDPs. You know, saying that you're going to pass the AKT or the SCA is not sufficient evidence of a personal development plan. And then finally, we have the educational supervisor review. And ultimately, one of the reasons why we set up this portfolio support package is time and time again, you know, we receive emails from GP trainees saying that they're struggling to do their ESR because they're struggling to meet a certain capability, or they haven't justified correctly and therefore they're having to rewrite everything for their ESR. So the way that this course is set up, it will help you streamline your workload so that when it comes to your ESR, you're actually more proficient, and you can do it in a simple fashion and just pull across your earlier justifications that you've done when you were writing your learning logs. So that concludes this video. That's exactly how our portfolio support package is set up at the moment. If you're already signed up, I hope you're logged in already and start working through the different areas of this portfolio support package. If you have any questions, you can email me at sham@wellmedic.co.uk. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're yet to sign up for our portfolio support package, I'm not sure what you're waiting for, but you can go and head over to wellmedic.co.uk, find our portfolio support package on there, and you can sign up to one of our packages and get maximal value in terms of attaining and reaching your portfolio goals. I hope you found this helpful, and if you do have any questions, either drop a comment or send me a message at sham@wellmedic.co.uk.